Hello, welcome back to smarthelping.com. So what we're doing here is inventory reordering. Now this is going to be a bit different than the other inventory model I did that was called inventory restocking, where it was a 12-month cash flow forecast that kind of forecasted your units sold, and then it was more of something to try to predict your monthly cash requirements for inventory. This model is a bit different. We're looking at a snapshot. So what this will do is allow the user to put in various data about their different SKUs that they have. And then based on that, you'll figure out the inventory level you need to reorder, the expected date you're going to have to reorder, and the amount based on all these assumptions, which I'm going to walk through with you here in a second. So this is more like where you would list each unique SKU or name you have down the column B here. And you wouldn't have to, you'd only have one SKU per row. And then you have all the information about what happens with reordering here. So we've got some smart logic to determine some specific things that might be hard to do just in your head or, uh, quickly on paper. So this is kind of a nice way to organize everything. Now I did also, because there's advanced filtering functions don't exist in Excel yet. They're planning to put them in soon. I think in the possibly, I'd have to check it, but I think 2019 or 20 version. I have to check if they happen or not. But most people's Excels will not have it, so we go to the free Google Sheet, which I've also done for this. So you'll get both the Google Sheet and Excel versions here. And the nice thing about the Google Sheet, it works the exact same way. All the conditional format and everything works. The difference is we now have this filter tab where you can adjust a number here. So this is going to tell you, based on the model's logic, how many SKUs are going to need to be reordered in the next X days. So this says, SKU S2 is actually going to need to be reordered in 2 days. So that's under 5, so it shows up. If we start increasing this to say in the next 25 days, oh, now SKU P1 pops in there. And we can also put a sort on this to give even more intelligence, so it actually goes in alphabetical order. If we go up to like 100 days, let's see, the other one's 180. So there you can see all three of them have now popped up because their days are less than or equal to this number. So this is a nice way to see, okay, I only want to see SKUs. You might have a whole thousand of SKUs here, but you only want to see the ones that are going to need to be have a reorder done in the next X amount of days. So that's your database here, and it just pulls up that. So because of that filter function, that's really nice and easy in Google Sheets. I've built this model in Google Sheets as well as Excel, and again, you'll get both with the one-time purchase. So let's walk through the logic. Let's just go through the first one here, and I'm just going to clear all this stuff out. I've done conditional formatting so that, and I'll go through that too. But basically, so if certain things fall into various criteria, then they'll highlight. So let's say we have SKU called, ABC1. Let's say you've got, let's just do a small number. So let's just say you've got 100 units of that on hand. And let's say the reserve you want to have at all times, you don't want to go below this is, let's say it's 10. And then we need to know, well, what are your average sales per day for this SKU? So you'll put in either you'll know the average sales per day, which you can just put in here if you want to hard code it. But if you want to do, if you have data available, you can just put like a start date and an end date. So let's say it's from January 1 to May 1st. And then based on the amount of sales you had during that period, let's say 600, it'll give you your average sales per day here of 5. So knowing that, there could be lead times. Now this could be 0, which is fine, but it also could be like 5 or 10. So let's say it's your lead time is 5 days. So when you order, it takes 5 days to get there. So now we've got a bunch of information starting to populate. The final piece of data you'd put in is the amount you want to order as a multiple of the reorder value. So let's say this, based on this logic, it's saying when your inventory at the end of the day gets down to 13 or less, you need to reorder. And we're going to say the amount you want to reorder is actually a multiple of the reorder level. So this is saying every time you reorder, every time you get down to 35 units, you're going to want to reorder. And so if we put in 1 here, it's just going to say order 35. So based on that, every time you are about to run out, or whenever you're about to hit basically your reserve requirement, you need to order 35 more units. Now, if we said this like 5 times, let's say, then it's going to say order amount 175, and then this is going to show you based on all of this stuff, basically your average sales per day, how many days this should last you. So here's 35 days. Now, let's use uneven numbers to make this a little bit more complicated, just so you can see the math work. So let's start back here. So this is saying, I'm going to show you this by day. So let's say you've got reorder in 18 days here. And this is all color coded. If you go to conditional formatting at the top, you can see I've got anything that's less than or equal to 5 is red. If you want to edit that, you just go to the rule, conditional formatting. Here, I'll do conditional formatting, go to manage rules, and then go to the one for less than or equal to 5. So this is going to be whatever you want to turn red. You can edit that, and it could be any number here. So it could be 4 or 10 or whatever. If it was, let's say, 20, then this is going to should turn red. Yeah, there it goes. And then you could change the in-between value. So less than 20 is going to be red here, and then in between here, if 20 is red, then you'd have to put, you know, 21 to whatever is yellow, and then green, meaning you're okay, is whatever value. So if you want to edit this, edit and put whatever you want there. So that's going to be green as long as the days until you have to reorder is above that. Now I'm going to undo that because I wanted the ones I had to be the default. So I think that did it. Yeah, there we go, less than 5. Okay, so we've got 100 units. We know in 13 days we're going to have to reorder. And because in 13 days we're going to hit the 35 units left, and based on average sales of 5 per day and a lead time of 5 days and a reserve minimum of 10, we're going to have to order um, on May 30th. So let's walk this out. So let's say I've got at the end of the day, I've got 100 units. Now, and let's say it is, let's just pick a date. We'll go today. Oh, so 517, and let's go this +1. So it's just going to show you days going forward. You've got 100 units, and you're using 5 per day, your average per day here. So now let's see how this actually works. This is telling you on May 30th, you're going to have to make an order. And at that time, you're going to hit your reserve or be below it. So let's say here's day 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And this should be somewhere around day 13. Based on this, it's saying on day 13, you're going to reorder. So let's drag this down a bit more. All right, so we're on day, here would be, you've got 100 And you go through the next day, so day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So here we should be in the negatives or close, I mean, close to our reserve, which we are. Now I have done some rounding here. So the days and stuff, because you can't have, half of a day or half of an amount of units sold. So we've rounded, which is going to cause slight variance, but this is all going to be an average anyway based on your average sales per day, so it fits the purpose it needs. All right, so let's see. Day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, day 13. So in day 13, we're going to have to reorder. Now, why is that? We'll look at what happened to day 13. We're at our reorder level of 35. And why is that? Because if we reorder here, and it takes our lead time of 5 days, so let's go down 1, 2, 3, drag this down some more. Shoot, what were we? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, it's at 35. So that's day 13. So now you got 5 days for a lead time. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There you are at 10. So that 10 is what's showing here. Now, what if we said required reserve was 15? How does this change? Well, let's put this to 15. Now it's saying you're going to have to reorder in 12 days. And you're going to hit 40 to trigger that. So let me just do 1, 2. So I'll have to keep redoing this. All right, so day 12, you're at 40, and you've got a lead time of 5, but you need at least 15 in reserve always. So when you hit 40, you reorder, and you reorder however much you want based on defined here. But then while it's taking time to, the lead time you're still using sales, so you're down another 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 in there. You're still at 15. And then you should have a new shipment coming in here. So you maintain that reserve, whatever it might be. Now let's say we have less. Let's say we only have 75 on hand. So now you're going to have to reorder. Well, this is actually not going to change this, but it's going to change your date here to 5/24, May 25th, rather than if you had more on hand, you're doing the reorder until May 29th. And it should have changed. Yeah, the days reorder went from 7, was at 12, now it's at 7. So this is all of the logic that's built in here, and this should be useful for anybody that has unit sales that they need to reorder for. And you can see all the stuff that's working here. Let's say, what if our lead time was what if it was 10 days? Let's adjust it to 10. And let's say our sales were a little bit lower, so let's say 350. So now what do we got? Well, let's say we have 75 on hand today. It's now saying we have to reorder in 10 days. So what happens in 10 days? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. That means we're at 45, which is our inventory reorder level. And the lead time is 10 days after that. So what is that? 10. So now, and we need to have at least 15 in reserve. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And look at that. 10 days, you're at 15, which is your minimum. And that's when you should have your new shipment coming in from when you ordered 10 days prior. Okay, so I think that explains the logic. Let me just update these back to how they were. And yeah, you can just fill in whatever data you have, and it's a nice, inventory management tool here that is helping you with reordering or restocking. And I think this is a lot better. Like the 12-month restocking cash flow forecast I did has some of this logic in it, but it's more for cash flow again. This is rather than like telling you at any given time when should you expect to have to reorder, and then what logic around that makes sense. So this tool will be available at smarthelping.com and other channels through Eloquent and eFinancialModels.com. I'm going to put it at $45 one-time fee. That's all you got to pay, and you'll get it. And I'll see you on the next one. This is smarthelping.com.